Yay, welcome back. We're going to learn how to make an asymmetrical crop for activewear today. I love this crop. It's very complimenting. It's got full bust coverage and a really nice thick strap at the top of the shoulder, and it opens up into like a keyhole in the front. The back is nice and thick and very supportive too. So if you are on the larger bust size, this will definitely be comfortable and keep you strapped in. But I will give you some warning, you will definitely get cleavage in this top as well. And as you can see, the back is nice and thick and firm as well. So let's get started. Okay, so for this you'll need your lining and also main fabric. Keep in mind that you can make this a reversible, so if you wanted blue and on one side, pink on the other, you can. So right now I have cut out my pieces and I'm just about to pin them. Okay, so when I go to pin, I'm going to make sure that I've pinned the right sides together, so the shiny side and the matte side. So I'm going to go ahead and pin that, and just make sure that if you are working with fabrics that are the same color, just be really careful to make sure that you've got the right sides facing when you go to pin. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to repeat it. Place the right sides of the main fabric and the lining facing together, so it's like we're pinning it inside out. So just use your pins and pin around where I've shown. There we go. We're going to leave the sides open, the top open, and also we're going to leave 2 inches open at the bottom of the back of the top, but I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. So right now I'm just going to go around and pin through the back. I'm just lining everything up nice and neat so that when I go to sew, it's nice and all perfect. Alright, so as you can see, I'm just doing the last pins of the bottom, and as you can see in the middle of the back I have got my pins pinned differently right here. I don't want you to sew here, I just want you to sew where we've pinned. And then on this side I'm just going to make sure that the right sides are facing each other before I go and pin. I just want to apologize for the planes that are flying overhead. I've picked a really bad time. Everyone's coming into Sydney at the moment. So yeah, let's just enjoy this and don't worry about everyone coming into Sydney. So right now I've got the right sides of the fabric facing each other. I'm just lining everything up. I always start with the center here, just to make sure that everything is in line, and then I can just pin outwards from the center, because you'll sometimes notice if you pin on the right side, you get to the left, it's all kind of moved, the fabric's moved. So if you aim for the center and then work out from there, you will get a nice even finish on your seams. There we are, so just a bit of speed pinning there. And I'm just going to sew where I've pinned, and like what I said on the other side, just leave 2 inches down the bottom there. Awesome, that's where you leave the gap. There we are, it's all done, so it's already pinned. I've got a little hole here in the back down the bottom. We want to keep that hole and leave these ones here open. It's really important. And also on this side we've got some openings and we want to keep it that way, so these ones are left open. Very important. There we are. Awesome. So now we can move on to the next stage. And we're moving on to our elastic. So this is an 8mm swimwear elastic. I'm going to use this on the outer edge around the top here, and also around through the back and the sleeve or the armhole. So I'm going to leave about a centimeter on each end, start and finish. I'm going to pull my elastic, but not extremely. I'm just keeping it nice and firm. I'm not actually going in to get any kind of tense kind of feel. I just want it to be nice and firm. So I'm just leaving a centimeter on each end. So go ahead, apply the elastic through the tops. There we are, around through there. And then that should be done. So as you can see, I've done, and I've also popped the elastic on the back of the right side of the material. So on the back of the right side, I think it sits nicer that way when you go to wear it. Okay. So now we're getting ready for the elastic that we're applying through the neck hole. So for this elastic, I'm using a 6mm woven elastic. I like this elastic because it's firm, but it's a little bit softer for when you're using it for activewear, especially around through the neck area. I find that the swimwear elastic is a bit too firm for the neck. So I'm just again leaving a centimeter on the ends, and I'm applying this on the back of the lining. There we are. So that's the lining side, and then this is the back of the main fabric. So they're opposite to each other. Now we're going in for some more elastic. So this is a 20mm elastic. This is for under the bust, and it is such a great, and as you can see, I actually order in bulk. So yeah, I do lots of sewing. So I love this. It's got a good firm hold. So I don't actually need to pull it a lot when I'm sewing. I just pull it a little bit to just get a little bit of a gather. On the end, I will leave about a centimeter, and this is just so that we can do a really nice seam. And while I'm sewing a zigzag stitch, I will be gently pulling this elastic. So I want a little bit of a gather, not too much. And I'll be doing this on the other side as well. But we're also not going to sew over that 2 inches in the middle. So right here is where we don't sew over this area, but we continue to sew on either side. So there we are. So all done. I've done 3 lines of zigzag stitch. I've left the hole. There we are. So already. Can you believe this top doesn't take very long at all? You'll have a stylish asymmetrical top in no time. The pattern you can download at indiajean.com. And now I'm just turning everything around the right way. And as you can see, because it is an invisible stitch, you can make this reversible with different colors. There we are. And then we'll do the same on the other side. This one can be a little bit tricky because you've got to go up through a smaller hole. So just be a little bit patient and take your time with this. Depending on what fabric you're using, it will come out a lot easier. This one was good because it's a lycra, so it's got that silky finish to it, so it's a little bit easier. And then I'll do the same for the other side. Oh, that's a big plane. I don't know if you can hear that. It's like grumbling through the sky. And then just unraveling the other side. And there we have it, almost through. And then pulling everything through and lining everything up. Ah, beautiful. You can see it already taking shape Okay, so we've got to do this very special part here for the top of the shoulder. This is what gives it the asymmetrical look. We want to join these two ends together to get that beautiful hole opening through the front of the chest. So I'm placing the right sides together and I want to line up the seams. So lining up the seam will make everything balance out. So if you need to take a little bit of time here, do so. And just smoothing everything out so that it's easy to sew. If you're doing this for the very first time, it may take you a little bit longer than usual, but do really put the effort in. So I'm just going to pin that seam right in there, and then I'm going to pin all the way around until I can't pin anymore on both sides. This is where you got to be really neat as well. So I'm just going to go and speed pin away here, and there you go, putting the last pin in. This is what it should look like. Very fancy. Yes, so we could go ahead and sew now, but the material is so slippery that I'm actually going to hand sew this first before the sewing machine. So getting some needle and thread, and I'm using a big long thick needle for this because why not? I like the bigger needles because it's just easier to work with. So I'm just going to secure this in and sew where I've stitched, just to keep the material from slipping, and when I go to sew it on the sewing machine it will be perfect. So yeah, just imagine if I could sew that fast with my hands. That would be amazing. Okay, so done and done. So just make sure when you're sewing that you're keeping the material out of the way, and sew all the way around, about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and all done. So I've got the white thread in there. I'm just going to gently pull that out. We don't need that anymore. There we are. And then unraveling that. Look at that, it's so beautiful. I'm so happy. No holes on either side. Yay. Okay. You make this top, you actually feel like a real professional. It's such a beautiful pattern, and like I said, you can make it in more colors. I'm just going to cut this because I think I overcut. So I'm just going to cut down to the shorter length. I'm just going to give it a nice little trim. Yay. All right, getting the scissors and snip. There we go. And now we're ready for the next stage. And so the next stage will be joining the top of the shoulders together. And I'm really happy with this so far. I remember sewing this for the very first time, the top of the shoulder, and it took me ages. I think it took me like a good maybe hour to perfect it. So if you do good, like, you're just on your way to being a superstar at sewing. Okay, so I'm now got the front side, the top of the shoulders, and I've got the right sides facing up. I'm just going to overlap the back of the top shoulder over the top of the front of the shoulder, just slightly. I'm just going to pin it as well. So just popping a pin in there, and then I'm going to go through this hole and I will pull it through. So luckily it's stretch fabric, because if it wasn't, we'd be in trouble. All right, so we don't need that pin. Just hold it with one hand And then coming through the other side, we want to pull it all the way through. There we are. And it's pulled all the way through. And how you know you've got it the right way is the right fabric should be facing the right fabric, and then the lining should be facing the lining. So the two shiny sides are facing together. So that's good. There we are. Look, two shiny sides and then the two matte sides. Perfect. Okay, I'm happy. So all I need to do now is just even out through here and pop a few pins in, making sure that everything is lined up and even. Pop a couple of pins in just to make sure. What's really important is just lining up the elastic and the edges of the material so that when you go to sew, the elastic is nice and flat and it's not bulking in anywhere. You might get a little bit of puckering. Hopefully that only comes through on the lining and not onto the main fabric, and if it happens here I will show you. Oh, that's a big plane. It's all systems go. It's party time in Sydney by the looks of it. Okay, so putting that other pin in, and then you're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance just through here. There we are, all done. I've done an overlocker. You could definitely do a straight stitch and a zigzag. Look, it's perfect. Oh my God. I get a little bit of puckering on the lining, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. And it just looks so beautiful. I love it. And it sits so nicely on the shoulder as well. Because it's so thick, it offers a lot of support. And then now we're going in for the side seams. So we've got the right sides facing together, and now I'm just going to overlap the left front onto the left back like that. And then going in through the hole on the other side, you'll come up and grab it with your finger and your thumb, remove the pin, and then we turn it inside out. There we are. And so we just want to go in through there. And again, we've got the shiny fabric matching and we've got the matte fabric matching. And now all we need to do is just line up the side seams, pop a couple of pins in, and we're good. Wow. It doesn't take long at all, so seriously a few more steps and we will be finishing this gorgeous asymmetrical top, and I'll show you what it looks like on me. And then just making sure that everything is in line, getting those pins in. So if there's any requests for anything that you'd like to learn how to make, please feel free to send me a message. I'd love to hear what you would like more of, because I can deliver, I just need to know more of what you would like, because I'm just delivering things that I love making. So I hope that's enough for you. But if there's more, if you want more, then just let me know, because I would be honored to teach you stuff that you would love to learn. Alright, so I think that's the final pin. I've been a little bit fussy with this one. I think it's because the material is so slippery, so just keep in mind it's not a velvet, thank God. And then just do a seam allowance of a 1/4 inch and sew across there. And there we go, all done. And then we can pull that through. Drum roll. Yes, it's so beautiful. Okay, I'm so happy. Yes. So good. And now all we need to do is this final part here. joining up the other side. Okay, so we've got the right sides facing each other. We're going to come in through the back, so make sure you've got the back facing up, and I'm going to just even out this right side, which is the front, and just place it on top of the back. So I've just overlapped it just slightly, and then pop a pin in there, and then coming in through the hole through the middle of the back, and then pulling that through. Oh, look, it's perfect. Okay, so we've got the shiny side facing the shiny side. Look, perfect. And then we've got the matte side facing the matte side. So this is good. We don't have to do it again. And then just even out the elastic and the side seams, and getting that all pinned in there and making sure that it's nice and even. I love this. It makes me so happy. I'm such a sewing nerd. I wonder if you are as well. If you are, please comment below. I would love to hear and just nerd out over sewing stuff with you. And then just make sure that everything's nice and even. But I'm sure that you'll probably watch this first before you make it. And also just remember, head over to indiajean.com. That's where everything is available, to all the resources for making your own, all the patterns. You can even buy this made if you like. If you'd like me to make something for you, just let me know. And my main thing is just to serve you so that you've got all the resources you need to make your own wardrobe. So yeah, so we're almost finished this one. All I'm going to do is pin this together, and then I'm going to sew, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like on me, so I actually won't come back to the camera until I've got it on. So I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. It's always been a dream of mine to teach everything that I know about sewing. So yeah, here we are. And there you have it. It fits like a dream. I'm so happy. I'm going to do a workout in this. Love, love, love.